Students, in this video we are going to be talking about the jointer safety rules. You will have to pass the jointer test, 15 questions by 100% to be able to use the machine before your performance test, and then you're allowed to use the machine after your performance test. So let's talk about the safety. Let me put on my GoPro here. And this is the test that you'll have to pass. All right, so let's go through the questions. It is either safe or unsafe to joint end grain of the wood on this machine. So guys, on every machine, you are to know which direction your grain goes. Okay, so on this board, can you see the grain running this direction? So if we were to joint the end grain, that is unsafe. This machine is with the grain only. All right, we talked about if we're going cross grain, that's cross cutting. We could cross cut on the radial arm saw, we could cross cut on the miter saw, we can even cross cut on the table saw if we use the miter gauge or a sled. Okay, but when we're going with the grain, that's what we want to do on joining. And if we're using the table saw, it's considered ripping with the grain. Cross cutting is across the grain. So it is unsafe to joint across the grain. Let me show you what can happen. It's probably going to ruin your panel. Okay, I'm going to move my computer in case there's a little bit of kickback there. Let's turn it on. You see that? A lot of times it'll take a bigger chunk than that. All right, it's gonna tear out every time. So we don't want to do end grain on the joiner. It's with the grain. So like I said, it is your responsibility on each machine to know which way the grain is running and which way to place it on the machine for the cut. Okay, in this case, it's with the grain. All right. Moving along, got our first one done. Second one, I guess. First one was always wear eye protection. You've seen that on multiple safety tests. And you know we've got the cabinet over there for your eye protection. Every day we've got to wear it. Number 3, it is safe or unsafe to leave the joiner when it is running. Okay, common sense, we never leave any of the machines running. We always turn them off when we're done. Always when you come up to a machine, if you're the next person in line, just assume that the blade might even still be turning even though the machine is off. It gets loud in here. Some machines aren't very noisy, so once you use it, make sure you've turned it off so the next person is safe. Next question, it is safe or unsafe to face joint. Let me show you what they're talking about on face jointing. So this is edge joining, right? This would be face joining, okay? It will do it, right? But it is unsafe, okay? We use our planer to plane the thickness. Guys, my shop's a little bit of a mess right now because they're tearing out walls, building, they plugged that hole up there, and they're gonna build a new wall in here, and then all this CNC equipment's gotta go in that room, so I apologize for the mess. But once again, no face joining, okay? I've only got a few minutes to class. That's my alarm over there. We got to get going. It is safe or unsafe to make adjustments while the joiner is running. No machine do we make adjustments while it's running. Okay? It is safe or unsafe to remove the safety guard out of the way and use the machine. Of course, that is not good. Okay, you never want to do that. You always want the guards in place. You've seen that question on other machine safety tests, okay? It is safe or unsafe to place your hands over the cutter head when making a cut. Obviously, that is unsafe. We want to keep our hands on either side of the cutter head. If you've got push sticks, that's okay. 6 inches from the blade, right? It is safe or unsafe to remove a 1/4 inch. We've got it set, if you see, we've got it set at a 1/16, an 1/8 inches max. So a 1/4 inch would be unsafe. We don't want to take off that much material. It is safe or unsafe to make sure that your stock meets the minimum size requirements. Guys, as in our other machines, shortest piece is what? Do you remember? 10 inches long, right? So it is safe to make sure that your part meets the minimum size requirements. All right, next question. It is safe or unsafe to have an assistant help you support a long piece. If we had an 8-foot long piece, we would want somebody helping us out here, right? And they just support, they don't pull it through. So it is safe to have an assistant help you. Next question. The recommended depth of cut, we've already talked about that, is a 1/16 of an inch. I've got it set, don't change it. Next question. What should be used whenever narrow stock, edging narrow stock? So this would be narrow stock, shorter than the fence, got to use our push sticks, remember? One in front, one in back, equal pressure, taking it through. So the answer for number 12 is push sticks. Number 13, the minimum length of stock, yep, 10 inches. 14, you should never adjust the outfeed table. It has to be perfectly in line with the circumference tips of the blades, the helical head. So that was set at the factory. We don't want to change that. Okay, we would no longer get a straight edge when we jointed. In-feed table can be adjusted, out-feed table is not adjusted. And I want to make the adjustments on the in-feed if we need to go something different than a 1/16. Last question, keep your hands how many inches away from the cutter head? On every machine, 6 inches. All right, guys, so that is the joiner test.